Hello, Reading Room. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. Thanks so much for joining me. We are here on day 354 of the Reading Room. Woo! Round of applause, round of applause. Because that's a long time. That's a long time to be doing, what I'm doing. And wish I were getting paid for it. Wish people appreciated me. But that being said, I am enjoying doing this, and that makes me lucky. This is edited by Leon Cass. Sorry about that. It's just, the illegal drugs are getting in my system, or whatever it is. I had to throw away that chicken because I don't trust it, because it's from a big corporation. I don't know what they're doing, but I don't think it's legal. Oh, they say it's legal because they bypassed the law. The Hippocratic Oath, as translated by the guy who edited this book. So I went back to Being Human only for today. I wanted to read the Hippocratic Oath in particular because there are MDs at McLaren, and those MDs violated the Hippocratic Oath. Rusa, an MD, and this faggot, an whatever he is. I'm gonna put him up there. Yeah, that's what I called you, a faggot. There, two lovers. They love breaking the law. David Minter and Theodore Rusa. Breaking the law, breaking the law. That's all I got from that song. I think it's Ted Nugent. Breaking the law, breaking the... Nah, it's not. I forgot who it is. The Hippocratic Oath, translated by Leon R. Cass, MD. This oath, the oldest and best known expression of a medical ethic, was for centuries regarded as the guide for proper medical conduct. Pay attention, Rusa. Pay attention. Although the accomplishments of modern medicine appear to have taken the discipline far from its ancient roots, the oath continues to offer a powerful account of what it means to be a doctor. And if you can't hold up what it means to be a doctor, you are stripped of your doctor license. The universities, done. You take billions of dollars from taxpayers. We're paying for your research. We're paying for Big Byrd to go fly to the Antarctic and do whatever the hell he wants, including putting people to death out there in our Arctic, because that's the kind of mental deficits the military people have. He was military. He quit? No, I don't think so. I think they were like, yeah, you need to get out. The oath begins by invoking ancient Greek deities. The specific deities invoked are Apollo, here Apollo physician, and God associated with light, truth, and prophecy, Asclepius, child of Apollo, the father of medicine, Hygeia, whose name means health, living well, and Panacea, all heal. Both daughters, Panacea, I'm not sure. It's not Panacea. I don't think. It could be. both daughters of Asclepius, and associated with what modern readers might call prevention and treatment. The oath concludes with a plea acknowledging that the physician's fortunes depend on his fulfillment of its terms. The 6 substantive paragraphs in between address first the oath's longest paragraph, how the physician should comport himself with respect to his teachers as well as his teachers' offspring, his own and all other students of medicine. Physicians are here literally called into fraternity with one another. The gift of the medical art is equated with the gift of life. The five subsequent paragraphs indicate how the physician should conduct himself with respect to his patients and their households. The first 3 deal with the ends and means of treatment, appropriate and inappropriate, the last 2 with decorum. Why begin the oath with an invocation of the gods? Why these gods? What does this beginning suggest about the powers of the physician and their source? Parents rightly often resent the authority teachers have over their children, yet here physician teachers are explicitly equated with fathers, medical students with their sons. Is this equation or analogy justifiable? Why or why not? It would be justifiable if that's how they treated them, but they don't. It means nothing to them. The Hippocratic Oath means absolutely nothing. They're Christians to begin with. So what the hell do they care about this Hippocratic Oath? What, according to the oath, is the true purpose of medicine? Can you explain and justify the limits the oath places upon the uses of medical technique? Except to say that a doctor must neither kill nor suggest killing, the oath is silent on the subject of death. What can one infer from the oath about a doctor's obligations to the hopelessly ill? Well, we know what they want to do. The oath. I swear by Apollo physician and Asclepius and Hygeia and Panacea and all the gods and goddesses, making them my witness, that I will fulfill according to my ability and judgment this oath and this covenant, to hold the one who has taught me this art as equal to my parents and to live my life in partnership with him, and if he is in need of money, to give him a share of mine, and to regard his offspring as equal to my brothers in male lineage, and to teach them this art, if they desire to learn it, without fee or covenant, to give a share of precepts and oral instruction and all the other learning to my sons and to the sons of him who has instructed me, and the 2 pupils who have signed the covenant and have taken an oath according to the medical law, but to no one else. I will apply dietetic measures for the benefit of the sick according to my ability and judgment. I will keep them from harm and injustice. Liar, Rusa. Liar, Minter. You're liars. You're MDs and you took an oath and you're liars. I will neither give a deadly drug to anybody if asked for it, nor will I make a suggestion to this effect. Johnson & Johnson, don't you have MDs on your board? What are you recommending? And it's not just that you're recommending it. You're forcing it on vulnerable populations. You violated your oath, you lose your license. If you violate it to this extreme, having me at McLaren, you lose your license. You can no longer practice medicine or be on any one of the boards. Johnson & Johnson, Bayer, done. That's what I say. You violated your oath. You make a promise and you violate it. That person is unemployable. You took an oath and you violated it. You're unemployable. You got fired, Rusa, from Beaumont. I will not use the knife, not even on sufferers from stone, but will withdraw in favor of such men as are engaged in this work. Similarly, I will not, this is before this, I will not give to a woman an abortive remedy. In purity and holiness, I will guard my life and my art. That's interesting. Into whatever houses I may enter, I will come for the benefit of the sick, remaining clear of all voluntary injustice and of other mischief, and of sexual deeds upon bodies of females and males, be they free or slave. Well, I guess that sheriff didn't take the Hippocratic oath, did he? What oath did you take, sheriff? Things I may see or hear in the course of the treatment or even outside of the treatment regarding the life of human beings, things which one should never divulge outside, I will keep to myself, holding such things unutterable or shameful to be spoken. If I fulfill this oath and do not violate it, may it be granted to me to enjoy life and art, being honored with fame among all men for all time to come. If I transgress it and swear falsely, may the opposite of all this be my lot. Exactly what I'm hoping for you, Minter. Exactly what I'm hoping for you, Rusa. That you are no longer employed in the medical field because you broke your oath and you swore falsely. You had a petition that wasn't signed and it wasn't brought in front of the court of law because it was illegal. And you threatened me, Rusa. You threatened me with medicine. If I transgress it and swear falsely, you threatened me with medicine, Rusa. I did not forget. I did not forget the evilness of your soul. This is now an excerpt from the book of Sirach, prepared by the Catholic Biblical Association of Great Britain. What is the true source of healing? For centuries, people have wondered whether healing comes from faith or art, from divine power or human skill. What is the relation between the doctor and the divine? And what about the medicines we take? The following passage from the book of Sirach asserts that healing comes from the Most High, but identifies the physician as a divinely gifted instrument of that power. Because the physician is part of the holy gift of healing, he should be honored and indeed is admired in the presence of great men. The opening word, but not anymore. You're an embarrassment. You're an embarrassment because you're desperate to get people to act the way that you want them to, which is to shut up, to suppress them. You're desperate, and that's why you give people illegal drugs that have been penalized for using them on vulnerable populations. You use those drugs on children. And whether or not you have Rusa, you've allowed it, Minter. You've allowed it. Those are vulnerable populations, and you can't control a behavior problem except for with your bright idea to medicate them, and that's PCP, which I was told is being used in medicine. A tranquilizer for gorillas. That's where it came from. And you approved that medicine on me when I was sitting in my bed quietly. Why was that, Rusa? Why would you do that? Because you weaponized medicine. You weaponized medicine. You're inhuman. You're inhuman. Now, why can't I find that stupid classroom thesis? Oh, come on. All right, it doesn't matter. There we go. How I have it here or no place else, I have no idea. Oh, I know. How about that? I'll do it that way. I can't believe I can't find that. All right, that's all I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. So I can find it. The following passage from the book of Sirach asserts that healing comes from the Most High, but identifies a physician as divinely gifted instrument of that power. Because the physician is part of the holy gift of healing, he should be honored and indeed is admired in the presence of great men. The opening words of this passage exhort readers to honor the physician with the honor due him and also according to your need of him. What does that mean, to honor the physician according to the honorer's need? Are these two exhortations in tension with each other? Why should the honor due to the physician be measured according to the honorer's need? And I don't know what all these sirens are doing out here, because they don't do anything as far as crime goes. They don't do anything as far as all of these issues I've been talking about. So the only thing that they do over there with all those sirens constantly going off is trying to strike fear in vulnerable populations. Those people with those sirens do absolutely nothing for those people who stand for justice and who complain about the injustices. Those sirens aren't there for people who need them around for injustices. That's not what they do. That's not what the law enforcement does around here. Not one single bit. Not in Oakland County. Not one single bit are those sirens for the justice of citizens. Not one single bit. Go on, blast your effing sirens, run around the neighborhood and do fucking nothing. Because that's what you do, law enforcement. You do fucking nothing. How many complaints do you have on file for me about what was going on? Construction workers stealing my money and leaving the property? Oh, that was my fault. Why would you care about criminal behavior, Sheriff? Why would you care about criminal behavior, Sheriff, when your pockets are lined? Oakland County Sheriff's Department over there in Commerce, Michigan. Bunch of dildos. Non-operating dildos. The physician should be honored and given his place, but because of the heavenly source of healing, the sick should also pray to the Lord and offer a sweet-smelling sacrifice. Does this advice imply also its corollary that illness is a result of sin? If one believes the source of healing is divine, Must this inevitably affect one's understanding of illness? In his final words, Sirach commends him who sins before his maker to the care of a physician. What does this suggest about the relation between the physician and the divine? So let's see what this book has to say. It's a short excerpt. Then we've got an excerpt from Albert Camus's The Plague, but I didn't put that to read because Camus can be a little depressing. Honor the physician with the honor due him according to your need of him, for the Lord created him. For healing comes from the Most High, and he will receive a gift from the King. What do you think you're going to get, Rusa? You think you're going to get a gift from the King, Minter, over the doctor, the MD, overseeing that department that simply doesn't care, that you don't even meet the minimum law requirement to have somebody taken away and incarcerated? I don't care where it's incarcerated. You took me from my home in handcuffs. That sheriff left me in a boiling car with a gun. Why would you do that, Sheriff? Are you retarded? Or just building a narrative against good women because you're a faggot? The skill of the physician lifts up his head and in the presence of great men is admired. Do you feel like you're admired, Rusa? The Lord, because you were fired from Beaumont. And yet somehow you still have an MD position. According to your oath, if you transgress and swear falsely, the opposite should happen. So you're not granted an enjoyable life in your art. You're not honored with fame among men for all time to come. You're dishonorable. The Lord created medicines from the earth, and a sensible man will not despise them. Yeah, if he created them from the earth, but he didn't. He created them from plastics and synthetics. Was not water made sweet with a tree in order that his power might be known? And he gave skill to men that he might be glorified in his marvelous works. You have no skill, Rusa. Those are just threats. I didn't send out a threat, but you verbally threatened me. Are you incarcerated in a mental health facility for verbally threatening me? Are you incarcerated, Rusa, in a mental health facility for verbally threatening me to force killer medication on me? Because that's what you did. And you deserve to be incarcerated. And I'm a witness. I heard you weaponize medicine. You're the lowest. You're the lowest transgressor on the planet. There is no God to save you. You better start praying to Apollo. Was not water made sweet with a tree in order that his power might be known? Well, that would be natural medication now, wouldn't it? Not what you do. You do hocus pocus plastic. And he gave skill to men that he might be glorified in his marvelous works. By them he heals and takes away pain. The pharmacist makes of them a compound. His works will never be finished. My son, when you are sick, do not be negligent, but pray to the Lord, and he will heal you. Give up your faults and direct your hands aright, and cleanse your heart from all sin. offer a sweet-smelling sacrifice and a memorial portion of fine flour, and pour oil on your offerings as much as you can afford. And give the physician his place, for the Lord created him. Let him not leave you, for there is need of him. No need. We already said, if you transgress, you get nothing. Program director at McLaren allows their MDs who were fired from Beaumont to work there underneath him and weaponize and threaten patients with killer medications that somehow the Justice Department's hands are tied for getting them off the shelf. They're trying to get them off the shelf as fast as they can. What do you expect them to do when there's only so many minorities and vulnerable people in the population and they're watching their every move? How do you expect them to clear those medications from the shelf? If not for those lucky insurance companies. There is a time when success lies in the hands of physicians, for they too will pray to the Lord that he should grant them success in diagnosis and avoidance from criminal punishment for their attempted murder. That's right, Minter. Attempted murder. You pile drug on top of drug in me? For what? What was the reason why? I was sitting there quietly. Drug after drug after drug you put in me, with absolutely no legal right to do so. And that was based on what? A text that never even came up in court? Drug after drug after drug you put in me. That he should grant them success in diagnosis and in healing for the sake of preserving life. Is that how you preserve life, Rusa? By weaponizing medication? You are despicable. I hope your children hate you. You too, Minter, but it doesn't look like you're, anything but impotent. Either one of you. He who sins before his maker may fall into the care of a physician. That's kind of what I'm hoping for you guys. Sinning before your maker in a field where you're supposed to be admired. That's the last that we have of being human. I really hate to leave our reading room on those notes. Where are we in time? I'm going to read from The Case for Christ. So we leave this on an entirely different note, not on those people who are illegal workers, illegal workers for Satan. What did the book say that Satan wanted to do? I don't know if we got to it yet. Satan's purpose is to kill God. You are workers for Satan. Rusa, I hope your kids hate you. I hope your wife hates you. I hope your family knows why you were fired from Beaumont and that they hate you. Minter, I hope you're not admired by anybody. I hope they shuffled you to Pontiac because they knew you were a loser. Anybody who would use and abuse vulnerable populations and call yourself smart seems to me you have very few answers. You have very little wisdom. And I hope your families hate you because you're so ignorant. And I hope any first class, second class, third class woman turns their back on you and farts in your face. The documentary evidence where Jesus is by, I hope, Brusa, somebody's farting in your face. That's what I hope. I hope you're disgraced with a shart. The documentary evidence where Jesus' biographies reliably preserved for us. As a reporter at the Chicago Tribune, I was a document rat. I spent countless hours rummaging through court files and sniffing for tidbits of news. It was painstaking, Rusa, doing a job the correct way to find truth. It's painstaking and time consuming, but the rewards were worth it. Are these rewards worth it to you? I hope your family hates you so much that they are taking you down. I hope your family hates you so much that they are working for your demise. For example, I once stumbled upon some top secret grand jury transcripts that had inadvertently been put in a public file. My subsequent articles exposed massive bid rigging behind some of Chicago's biggest public work projects, including the construction of major expressways. But the most eye-popping cachet of documents I ever uncovered came in a landmark case in which Ford Motor Company was charged with reckless homicide for the fiery deaths of 3 teenagers in a subcompact Pinto. It was the first time a U.S. manufacturer had been criminally charged for allegedly marketing a dangerous product. When I checked the court file in tiny Winnemay, Indiana, I found scores of confidential Ford memos revealing that the automaker knew in advance that the Pinto could explode when struck from behind at about 20 miles an hour. The documents indicated that the automaker decided against improving the car's safety to save a few dollars per vehicle and to increase its luggage space. Now, you know what? I don't believe that. I believe they knew it. They knew who would buy cheap cars, and they didn't care. They wanted to see. It's all an experiment to them. Let's see what happens if I weaponize medicine. Let's see what happens if it really happens. It's all an experiment to them. That's what it is. They've got so much money falling out of their ass. Why not experiment on citizens in the United States with death, trauma, and destruction? Why not do that? And to increase its luggage space? A Ford lawyer who happened to be strolling through the courthouse spotted me making photocopies of the documents. Frantically, he rushed into court to get a judicial order sealing the file from the public's view. Oh, kind of sounds like Pfizer did. Sealed the documents for 70 years. And that guy who likes it in the ass, judge, he got it in the ass. But it was too late. My story headlined, Ford ignored Pinto Fire Peril, secret memo show. Was banned in the Tribune and then flashed throughout, was bannered in the Tribune and then flashed throughout the country. Authenticating the documents. Obtaining secret corporate memos is one thing. Verifying their authenticity is another. Before a journalist can publish their contents or a prosecutor can admit the documents as evidence in a trial, steps must be taken to make sure they're genuine. Concerning the so-called Pinto Papers, could the Ford letterheads on which they were written be counterfeits? Could the signature be forgeries? How could I know for sure? And since the memos had obviously, and these guys, they don't even care. How could I know for sure? What do I care what I know? I don't want to know. And since the memos had obviously been photocopied numerous times, how could I be confident that their contents hadn't been tampered with? In other words, how could I be certain that each copied document was identical to the original memo, which I didn't possess? What's more, how could I be positive that these memos told the whole story? After all, they represented just a small fraction of the internal correspondence at Ford. Well, maybe because that Ford lawyer ran into the judge's chambers to get them sealed. That's one indication. What if there were other memos still hidden from the public's view that would shed a whole different light on the matter if they were revealed? There are significant, or similar to Rusa, right? If you had no problem knowing truth, why would you have to rush in there and weaponize medication? Why would you pump me full of tranquilizers without any court order to do so? I don't understand how anyone could have a medical license and practice when that's what they do to their patients. These are significant questions, and they're equally relevant to examining the New Testament. When I hold a Bible in my hands, essentially I'm holding copies of ancient historical records, the original manuscripts of the biographies of Jesus, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and all the other books of the Old Testament and New Testament have long ago crumbled into dust. So how can I be sure that these modern day versions, the end product of countless copying throughout the ages, bear any resemblance to what the authors originally wrote? In addition, how can I tell if these 4 biographies are telling the whole story? What if there were other biographies of Jesus that have been censored because the early church didn't like the image of Jesus they portrayed? How could I have confidence that the church politics haven't squelched biographies of Jesus that were every bit as accurate as the 4 that were finally included in the New Testament, and that would shed important light on the words and deeds of this controversial carpenter from Nazareth? These 2 issues, whether Jesus's biographies were reliably preserved for us, and whether equally accurate biographies have been suppressed by the church, merited careful consideration. I knew that there was one scholar universally recognized as leading authority on these matters. I flew to Newark and drove a rental car to Princeton to visit him on short notice. So he interviews Bruce Metzer, PhD. Yeah, these chapters are all about the same size. And I'm not going to get through a lot of it. So I wanted to end on a different note. And I really want to call those law enforcement individuals, including the military, who do not simply fight for some unknown command they've been given, but really stand and honor their uniform. I get it, sheriffs. That's not an honorable uniform. I get it. I get it. But for some of you, it is. For some of you, you've earned your stripes. Did you earn your stripes by blowing your superiors? Because that's what it looks like his mouth is for. That's what it looks like his hairdo is for. And who does that look like? Who does that look like? I think I called him Steven Johnson. It's not. Mike Johnson. Who does that look like? And what does it matter anyway? I saw that guy. I know what he looked like. I didn't see Mentor. What I mean is what does it matter? Because they're all using fake aliases. God even knows whether or not they ever earned their MD. This system doesn't give a shit. The sheriff's department doesn't give a shit. Oakland County sheriffs couldn't care less. They sit on their fat asses, go driving around on your gas money, and have nothing to do. We're just keeping the peace. We're just peacekeepers. That how you earned your stripes? You have dismantled this country, and you're traitors. You're traitors of this country because you are traitors to good American citizens. Okay, we got that out. This is Dr. Annette Feravich, where I have been coming across more and more memories, right, Karen Feravich? Of you drugging me over there at your rental with some major drugs. Hey, is this your partner in crime? Is that your partner in crime? Who would know? They're all just a bunch of liars. Like they're all Secret Service agents and they can do whatever the F they want. Dr. Annette Feravich, just like you, Kathy. Just like you. Dr. Annette Feravich, it's May 28th. It is day 345. I have seen this kind of medical abuse go on with family members, my sister, my brother-in-law. This is just racketeering. Conspiracy against American citizens. You don't even have to use the law to incarcerate somebody. You're a maggot. You're a disease on the backbone of the American public. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. I am just really disgusted with the medical community and what they've let happen. And we all know it from COVID. We all know it from COVID. This is the United States of America because it seems to me like what they did from COVID was exactly like what they did in China. Dr. Annette Feravich, thanks so much for joining me here in the classroom where I am working to bring about a healthier mind, a healthier body, and a healthier spirit. It is May 28th, day 354 in the classroom. Thanks so much for joining me.